All right, good afternoon, East Hampton ARB. We're live on channel 22. We're streaming to YouTube. You are being recorded. The phone lines are not open for this meeting. You may begin.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. This is the January 23rd, 2025 meeting of the Architects Review Board of the Town of East Hampton. We have 8 applications on the agenda today. I would like to welcome 2 new members to our board. Susan McGregor Scott, on my left, joins us today as a new full-time board member, taking the spot formerly held by Kathy Cunningham. Clara Scavone, who's over with Will. Clara, stand up, okay. Joins us in the newly created alternate position. As an alternate, she will step in as a voting board member when a regular board member is absent, usually due to illness or vacation. And the goal is to give us 5 board members present for almost everything. Thanks a lot, Claire. She will attend all of our meetings. And as previously mentioned, Nancy Marshall, our attorney's office, has joined us from the town attorney's office, replacing Charlie Collins. Charlie and Nancy have basically switched positions, Nancy coming to the Architecture Review Board and Charlie moving to the Planning Board. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 9th? So moved. All in favor? Aye. So passed. Our first agenda tonight item is Historic District. This is Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-32-6-4.1. This is 136 Benson Drive in Montauk. And this is actually mine. Is anyone here for the applicant? Okay, I'm going to say a few things, and then if we need, you're welcome to come up and chat with us. So this is a very interesting application to modify a resolution we passed in October of 2022 concerning the exterior color of a newly renovated historic home in the Montauk Association. Instead of painting the 1x8 cedar clapboard white specified previously, the applicant is asking to leave the siding natural to reduce maintenance. Prior to this latest renovation, the exterior of this house had natural cedar shingles for several decades. It's an interesting application because the building is not one of the famed 7 sister houses of the Montauk Association. Rather, it is the former 1930 Ditch Plains Coast Guard station, which was decommissioned in 1954 and moved about a quarter of a mile to this site inland in 1956. Like most of our historic Coast Guard stations and auxiliary buildings, this one is in the colonial revival style. And was long painted white. To get a sense of what it originally looked like, think of the former Coast Guard garage at the Georgia Beach in East Hampton. And here are pictures of the renovated house. But this application isn't for a Coast Guard station, and it's sort of a generic colonial revival building that has been decommissioned, moved, updated, repurposed, and is now a residence. Leaving its newly installed natural cedar is more compatible with the natural cedar shingles and clapboard of the neighboring famous 7 sister houses. None of them have paint on the exterior. They're all sort of naturally colored. And as the guidelines for the Montauk Association, which oddly enough this house is part of, the stress is that any new construction and renovations be compatible and harmonious with the 7 sister houses. So my view is I think we can easily approve this request. Would the applicant like to say anything?
Good afternoon, Michael Foley.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. I just wanted to say, I think you said it better than I could have. It's fairly simple, but the house has, it's a bit of a hybrid because obviously it used to be a Coast Guard station. It's had, kind of a storied past, being like a hotel even and a restaurant. And obviously now it's just a residential house. So we thought this was a good balance between, preserving its history and going forward and not having a lot of maintenance and just kind of letting it weather and blend into the environment.
Perfect. I mean, any questions or comments from the board?
I think it's great.
Yeah, that's great. The only question is, what about the front door now that it's now the house is no longer white? What color?
It just hasn't been painted yet, but it will be painted a color, but it's
okay
to be
painted. That's something technically we need to actually approve, right?
Are the windows black or?
So they're wood, but they're stained. So no, yeah, they're black, but it's a black stain. So not really any maintenance on them either.
That's the previous, prior to the
existing house?
prior to the renovation. Yeah.
Okay, can we see the house again? As it is?
today? Just, yeah.
It's still under construction, obviously, but that's where it's at.
I mean, you can come back to us with a proposed paint color if you want, but we can talk about it now too.
I'm pretty sure that was in the original resolution based on the plans that were submitted when we approved the house.
It probably, I'm guessing it may have been white unless it was,
I have it here. Let me look.
but white's not going to work with this.
Exactly.
No, I'm sure they don't mean to leave it white.
Right. White would have previously worked, but, you know,
So we didn't say anything about the doors or the siding will be 1x8 cedar clapboard siding painted white. The trellis will be unpainted cedar. So we never specified a door color.
So it was
It was
actually
rendered
the
as white.
plans that were referenced on the approved resolution, whatever that says. So if you're gonna change the color of the door, can you please come back and let us know?
Sure.
Or give me a call and I'll tell you what to do.
Okay, that works.
or we could do that now.
Well, we don't have a color. We don't have a color.
I mean, it's definitely not going to be white. It's going to be a nice color.
Okay.
Matches.
Yeah, so when you're ready, just let us know.
Okay, that works.
Okay, good. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this application as presented. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So passed. Thanks very much, Michael. Second item of business is under fences, walls, gates, and berms. This is Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-55-2-14. This is 139 Old House Landing Road in East Hampton. Diane, this is yours.
Yes. Is there anyone here for the applicant? Hi. Well, there's a circular driveway in the front of the house. This is a very, very compact, very beautifully kept third of an acre, very, very close to Sammy's Beach. I couldn't get beyond the fence because it was the lock, those big black locks. It was so cold yesterday, it was frozen, I think. But you didn't really need to. I mean, the application is for an 8-foot deer fence on the north and the east sides of the backyard. And I couldn't see the fence because it is totally ensconced and nestled in beautiful, tall, mature cryptomeria and other vining plants. There's no visibility from the street whatsoever because of all the vegetation, which is everything is in very, very proper order. So I understand the need for this fence, and you certainly can't see it. So does anybody else have any comments or questions?
No. All good?
Okay with it.
Okay.
Well, that was easy. Well, it's a very, very nice.
Would you like to say anything? Sometimes.
It's a very nice very, very nice property, beautiful. So I'm happy to make a recommendation that we approve this application as presented.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye. Aye. So passed. Thank you very much. Next item of business is under change to commercial. This is Suffolk County Tax Map Number 300-49-6-26. This is 21 Ocean View Terrace in Montauk. Chris, this is yours.
Is there someone here from the applicant? Great. Okay. So this is an application for the addition of 5 freestanding cubic proportion cabana pavilions onto an existing poolside deck that you can see in the photo there in front of that low wall. The Maram is the beachfront resort, which is toward the eastern end of downtown Montauk. Property is fully developed with guest rooms, restaurant, pool, boutiques, walkways, etc. The cabanas are proposed as 8.5-foot cubes with square aluminum tubing as frames, infilled with wood slats with a walnut stain, terracotta colored roof / ceiling. I'm not sure exactly what the material of that ceiling is, but it was called out as terracotta color, and with beige sand colored curtains. No lighting is shown or requested on the application. The cabanas would sit up against an existing wall, that low wall that bounds the pool on the north side, and would sit on existing decking. Location of the cabanas is not visible from the street since the pool area is surrounded by the other resort buildings. Similarly, the pool deck is elevated quite a good height above the beach. So even if one were able to see the tops of the cabanas looking up from the beach, you'd see it against the backdrop of that existing architectural framework, which is kind of in a matching wood tones. It's hard to see how these cabanas would negatively impact the character of the town or the resort itself. You have anything you'd like to add to? No. So,
Fine with it.
what does the board feel about these?
Not visible from the public, so
Yeah, really isn't. They're really nestled right in the middle of this compound.
I think we're good.
I think they're sort of nice, actually.
The fabric color of the curtains is referred to as wheat wood slats. I don't imagine they're really walnut. It's probably a walnut stain. And what is I'm sorry, if you could identify yourself.
Agriculture for Land Planning Services.
Hi, Lori.
That is also fabric,
Okay, the terracotta.
terracotta fabric.
Okay.
That's kind of draped along the top,
Gotcha. And the aluminum frame is natural color,
as far as I know.
clear aluminum. Okay. The palm trees are not part of the Montauk.
Not our property. It's just a rendering.
No palm trees.
All right, seasonal palm trees, that's all. So does anybody else have any comments,
Not really.
I think we're good.
questions? Okay, then I'd like to make an application, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application as submitted.
Second,
Second?
Diane, all in favor?
aye.
So passed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Lori. Still under change to commercial. This is Montauk Shores, Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-32.1-1-267.1. This is 100 DeForest Road in Montauk. Chris, this is also yours.
Who's here from the applicants? Okay. I'm going to give as complete a rundown of the situation as I can, given my discussion yesterday with Matt from the applicant side. So it's an application for construction of state-of-the-art sewage treatment facility to replace the existing wastewater treatment in the corner of this large 19-acre Montauk Shores condominium property, which is also known as the trailer park in Montauk at Ditch Plains. Zoning is RS Resort. And therefore, that's why it's in front of us, because it's commercial property. Most of the proposed site would be taken up of this part of the 19-acre site would be taken up with the septic field infrastructure that's completely underground and would therefore appear no different than what is now open lawn. The application is proposing a rectangular sewage treatment building in front of this existing this maintenance building, along with a generator on a concrete pad, exterior lighting on motion sensors, fencing, and a gate surrounding the facility with a driveway to access the facility from the existing road infrastructure of the development. The application is complicated somewhat because the applicant and their architects and engineers have to adhere to county health department requirements and standards, such as fencing the facility, having lighting, meeting their lighting requirements of this type of facility, perhaps most of all having to build the entire treatment building out of masonry to be non-corrosive and non-combustible. Their technical requirements also dictate features such as ventilation louvers on the sidewall. These are just pictures of the existing maintenance buildings and the clubhouse nearby. The applicants want this structure to blend with these existing adjacent infrastructure buildings, the maintenance building and the clubhouse, both of which are sided in cedar shingles, painted or stained white with a red asphalt shingle roof. To accomplish this, the applicant wants to add a false gable roof over the precast concrete flat roof that is required by the health department. And they want to cover the concrete block walls with shingles to match the existing building. So it's basically a cover up, giving it a cosmetic treatment to match the adjacent buildings. this all, it sounds all pretty straightforward so far, but the challenge that we have with this application is that the design intent that I've just gone through, which was outlined by the applicant in a discussion I had on site yesterday, is not clearly drawn and labeled in the application materials. I think, the architects and engineers working with the applicant, they've designed this building to comply with the health department requirements, and then they've basically added a triangle on top that said roof. And there's vinyl siding noted on this architectural rendering, whereas that colored rendering with Post-it notes on it that we saw previously, it says, hardy plank or cedar siding. So there's a little bit of cleanup required here because it's hard to, we don't really have a set of drawings that is coherent and gives clear direction about what we would actually be approving. I mean, it's really close. It's like, I mean, honestly, it's, the size and scale of this building next to the adjacent buildings. One can easily imagine it in, treated the same wall treatments, the same roof treatment, and it would fit right in. But they also have some complications with the fencing and the gate, which they've gone back and forth with the health department about the extent of that fencing. They've tried to trying to reduce it to be closer to the closer in so that some of the open septic field can be left open. They've received some assurance from the health department, but it's not in writing yet that that's approved. So we don't really have a clear direction on the fencing yet. And the gate is like a 40-foot gate across that driveway that you see in the bottom. We have fencing information, but not gate information about that. So you can see that there's from this site plan, you can see that the fencing area is much closer into the building around and even though overall on the left and diagonal at the top, those are both existing fencing because that's the property line of the whole development. So what they're trying to do is come back with this being smaller. Let's see, the lighting is they have wall mount, dark sky compliant fixtures that have been approved by, this has all been approved by the planning department and by the health department. Planning board. And so they have these 3000 K color temperature meeting town code, dark sky compliant, wall-mounted lights. They also have lighting at that's existing lighting on the adjacent clubhouse. And they might, we had a discussion yesterday, they might want to ask the health department for approval to do lights that are similar to that. But I said, well, that could be an amendment later. Let's stay the course. So we don't, I don't think it's the applicant's intent to want to have to go back to the planning board or to do major revisions with the health department and slow this down anymore. So the lighting would be controlled by the motion sensors, so it wouldn't be on all the time. Let's see, the fencing is, they're proposing the typical health department fencing is chain link. They're proposing to use a black square tube metal fencing, which is similar to what they have around their pool and around other areas of the development. They submitted cut sheets for that. But again, since we don't have clear direction that we know is approved for the layout of that, and it's shown in one way on a survey and another way on the site plan, I think we need that to be finalized. Let's see, the generator, it's another functional requirement of the treatment plant. It's to be located adjacent to the treatment building on a concrete pad. That's one of those kind of, it is what it is aspects. They can't let this thing run out of electricity and not be operational. So we have to fix this vinyl siding note. There's also a note about split face concrete block on a band there just below the frieze of the building. I don't know if that, I was hoping, maybe we could get some clarification from the architects or engineers for the applicant on some of those details and see if we can just kind of simplify this to make it just as close as possible matching the existing buildings so that it's a lot easier to just blend in. I mean, it's a great solution to make, this otherwise like rules-bound functional bunker into something that fits better in the setting. It's not, there's heavy plant screening to the street. It's not really visible from the street. There might be a neighbor looking down over that area generally, but this is really affecting, first and foremost, most of the environment, and then second of all, the condominium owners themselves.
So Chris, is the purpose to make this building look like the white clubhouse building?
Yes.
Okay, so Will, would you bring up the clubhouse?
That's at least what Matt told me yesterday when I met with him at the property. That's the maintenance shed, which would be right in front. The clubhouse is in the back. Yeah, that's the maintenance shed, which this proposed building would be right in front of that. And the clubhouse you see in the back there, that's the side of the maintenance shed.
So
There's
this
the clubhouse.
building was actually the garage for the Coast Guard station, which
Right.
was our first application. And that Coast Guard station sat in front of this building. So this is a pretty typical colonial revival building with trim, pane windows, a little bit of moldings. So is the goal to get the new building to look like this building?
I mean,
Sorry.
this is what was described to me by the applicant yesterday in a meeting. But obviously, that's part of what we're struggling with here, is just to make sure that what we have documented in the application is something that we can say, yes, this is what we're approving.
Sure. So
Brian Grogan with Bowler Engineering. So yes, we are effectively, as Chris described it, trying to convert a bunker that holds wastewater into something that looks a little less like a bunker that holds wastewater. The goal of this was to try to get it to match some of the other units in the development, not necessarily the buildings that sits adjacent to, like the garage or the clubhouse. We are looking to clad it in cedar siding so that it is not a block building that you're looking at. To kind of make it blend in, we are going to go with a red asphalt roof to blend with the other roofs in that immediate area. Doors and louvers, we've changed colors. Actually, I made some amendments to the plan yesterday, Chris, after your site visit, so I was able to kind of put that together on a plan. We have copies of those here. We've tried to make it look a little bit better. Like you said, we are trying to struggle with a little bit of balance of health department requirements. They are not architects, nor am I, and they like things as ugly as possible. I'm trying to get them off the slats on the chain link fence. We did go back to them, have some discussions, as Chris alluded to, about narrowing down where that fence is. That's still in active conversations. We're just trying to figure out from a legal perspective how we do that with escrows and things of that nature with the county. Because of our approvals with the county, they have the ability to, if we ever needed them to take over this plant, which has certain mandates. Same thing with the driveway gate. It's, as much as I'd love to make it smaller, that's what their requirements tell me I have to make it. Again, goal is, this is inset from the property lines. You're really not going to see it from out on the street. Even internally, we are providing dense screening. So again, the goal is to kind of not see this. It's not first and foremost when you look at it. It's going to be hidden, but if you catch a glimpse of it, it's going to look like anybody else that sided a unit in cedar. That's kind of the goal.
Let me ask you, because I wasn't clear. I looked at the section drawing, which is in the application materials, and it's showing the flat roof with an EPDM flat roof membrane, which then has, outflow through a collector box and down.
Yeah, it was a little, it's going to change. This was, again, a little bit of an iterative process. Unfortunately, we were at this with the health department for over 5 years to get this through, because this, believe it or not, is a first of its kind with them. Putting a treatment plant into an existing development has really never been done before. As well as going to the planning board for a treatment plant. I haven't had to do that before.
Right.
So again, we are changing it a little bit. There was a flat roof, concrete is preferred at those levels because it's longevity. So we can modify that to basically, it will eliminate some of the EDPM. There would be the asphalt shingle, truss style roof, and then just use leaders and gutters in lieu of, what would have been scuppers on the flat roof. Because again, that's how we would have typically designed it, was flat roof. But to match the architectural style of the other buildings nearby, it was preferred to go with a gable.
Yeah, I mean, they probably need the concrete plank roof as part of the
Correct, because if it's a wood truss roof, they tend to rot within a certain number of years, and then there's a extremely large maintenance issue, as well as just a safety issue. I've seen it before on a lot of older plants. It's not worth doing, whereas the concrete will outlive everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I mean, in my mind, this is, it's a great solution to a really functional, program. But I think it seems like they're working on it, but it seems a little bit premature to try to make a, much as we might want to try to help them, I don't think we could come up with a list right now of things that could go into a resolution to make this approvable tonight. But I think they're really close.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a way to do that, because again, we are attempting to start this construction, but we can't.
Sure, you need a building permit.
I need a building permit, and that's, so we were attempting to start this so that we could get some of the infrastructure installed prior to our summer season, where we're basically in kind of a hiatus from construction. Otherwise, our plan of attack is hit this the day after Labor Day, and we've got kind of a very short window to do everything on the site.
So do we have all 4 elevations?
Yeah, if you zoom out on that sheet, Will, I think you'd see.
Okay.
There's also the plan to put in solar panels on the south-facing roof, which you see in the lower right there.
So just review with me what the proposed siding is: horizontal hardy plank.
It's
Cedar?
Yeah.
Cedar shingles or cedar?
Yeah, well, cedar shingles was approved by the planning board, so I think
Yes.
rather than deviate from that and have it go back, that's kind of what.
No, it's not.
I don't know. You need to clarify that, but
I'm sorry, what did I say?
White or natural?
Natural. Yeah. Just like the picture, that's what wound up, and why some of the plans messed up, because as it was changing in the planning department, we were changing it, and unfortunately, there's so much type on this, it was missed.
Yeah.
So regarding the other things we spoke about, we have updated plans with all of it laid out, the colors, the door white, what is going to be stainless steel, which doesn't have a choice, like all the outside fittings will be stainless steel, most of them at least. And the any other structures we spoke about, any other items.
right. I mean, yeah, you've got. I know, looking at the cut sheets of the lighting fixtures, you have some color selections that you could choose from. I would imagine.
I think your rendering of the shingles doesn't look like shingles.
Yeah, it looks a little off. I'm not 100% sure why the architect that we had retained to do that had it look a little off, but it was supposed to be natural cedar shake.
So it'll look better than it does in this
Correct,
rendering.
100%.
And would that go up into the gable as well? Because it looked like it was a different material.
I think we could extend it up into the gable. I don't see a problem with that.
Whatever you like, that's not a.
I think it would look a lot better, yeah.
Yeah, that
The real rendering have no post-it notes on it, with exact details of the materials are.
I understood. It's just, again, we're trying to do the best we can with what we've got. We can We can do updated renderings. It's just going to take additional time and it's just going to put us back a little bit more, but understood.
I feel I don't need rendering. I just want to, I would, plans or elevations are enough for me. I just need clarity on
Understood. We've made,
what the color
Yep.
is and stuff,
Colors and materials.
So colors and materials.
Yeah, the doors and the window frames and.
I just don't know why it's not white. Are the other buildings white?
Yeah, the buildings are all
Well, May
white.
I interject? The reason we chose not to go white on this because it's in a big grass field. And it's a building by itself in a big grass field. And if it's white, it's going to stick out, we felt. If it's the same color as grass or close to it, it's not going to be such an eye-grabbing thing in a field. Like the other two white buildings, they have constant use by the community. This is just a
Can I
nice
see the
off, but
survey
unnecessary
again of
one.
where this building is?
And I understand the
It's right in
urgency
front
of
of
it,
one of those.
like from getting in the ground. But like, I don't even know what,
Big grass.
like, so if it's a hardy board, cedar is not going to weather naturally. So
The cedar shingle, it will weather naturally.
it is cedar shingles?
That's what we were
Okay.
okay. Just like, there's other houses right across the street from it, which are all cedar.
Yeah.
So it blends in. And you had the one picture of a grass field with one of our white buildings. That's exactly where the building is going to go. So it's not visible from outside by.
Yeah, if you see in this site plan, you see the garage that's the rectangle at the top, and directly in front of it is this proposed building.
If it's cedar shingle that's going to weather naturally, it's going to just look like any other sort of, I feel like old utility building in the town of East Hampton near a beach, which is okay, which is fine with me.
And maintenance free. That's why you didn't want
Yeah.
to go with the white, because we're always painting the other
And
buildings.
the doors would be what? White, gray, white?
White, and that's on the updated plans that we drew up yesterday, or he did yesterday.
So we would need those plans with the color.
Until you now?
Yeah, I have more.
Really need some.
Yeah, but we're not going to be able to
That's
review
fine.
them tonight.
No, I understood.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so I think, initially I thought the building needed to be white, but if it sits by itself, that's fine. I get that. I think it'd be nicer if the whole thing was shingles. It wouldn't be so
We did
jarring.
that to the office,
And
actually.
I think we just need a little bit more detail on coloring of windows and doors.
And then the roof.
Roof is-
You know, the roof on
The roof is going to be the red shingles, just like the other two
this?
buildings.
Natural cedar shingles with a red roof.
Yes.
And this is in the trailer park, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
So
And what about the fence?
The fence,
Again, fencing right now, as per the health department and DPW, until they allow us to alternate, is a chain link fence. It's a black vinyl coated chain link fence. We have proposed that other metal fence that's in with them. They're trying to figure out the ways to write it into our agreement such that it's formalized. But so far verbally, they've accepted what we're trying to do. But
What did the planning board approve?
the chain link
the chain link.
and this, just, the fence is 2 years out. So on the plans, it shows the one fence around the whole complex over there. You write the approval that way, and then, when we go to do the fence, because that's the last thing that's going to get done, we'll come back and say, listen, the health department approved it, we're going to do this fence, and we come back before you and get the approval. So I would just forget the fence, write what's on the plans, and make it simple. And then when we deal with it.
I mean, I'm fine approving this as we've discussed today, natural cedar shingles with white doors and trim and.
The roof is cedar or asphalt?
Asphalt.
It's red asphalt.
Red asphalt, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we would stipulate that it would match the existing roof, adjacent roofs.
Are you comfortable with this, Chris?
I mean, I think it's understandable. They've been at this a long time, and there's going to be a lot of summer residents in that place come Memorial Day, and if they can hit it hard, if the building department will work with them on a permit in a timely fashion to let you get going, that we're
Chris, do you want 5 minutes to look at the plans before we approve this?
Because we put
sure.
everything we spoke about is now on the plans, all the colors and all that stuff.
I mean, I'm not I think that I'm not sure, I'm not convinced that because the color of the siding is different than the white, that the red roof is the best option as opposed to just a dark
Right.
gray.
You could do a black roof. I
But-
don't think that's, you know.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean,
my vote.
it's also, you know, on the other hand, if they're doing solar panels, that's majority black, so a dark roof
Would be better.
they might blend in
No
better.
material's been purchased yet, so that's fine.
I mean, I would suggest like a dark gray asphalt
Dark
shingle
gray roof, okay.
as opposed to red.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking back at the clubhouse and the maintenance building, you're in a world of white buildings with red roofs. You turn around 180 degrees and you're looking at the trailers that are all different, some of which are multi-million-dollar structures, you know, with very custom finishes, and others are, you know, just double wides.
Right.
So,
Diane, what are your thoughts?
Excuse me. I would love to see the, I guess the survey again. I don't understand exactly where this building is.
So it's in the northwest corner of the property. So currently, just beyond where the garage is here, community center's here, the kind of northwest corner.
Can I go over there and point so I can point out some stuff?
Okay.
So is this it?
Yeah, so this is the garage building. This is the existing community center. This whole area right now is largely the septic system.
Right.
I think there's some basketball courts here. So this is basically, we actually have to strategically take out some of the existing sanitary system, move it around so we can keep there's year-round residents there, keep something functioning while we build parts of this and then restore it. So this is largely it looks like a grass area, but there's a number of septic tanks and leaching pools all in this grass right now.
And where's the new building?
The new building's right here.
so it's really directly straight in front of the maintenance shed.
Correct. Yeah, this is basically the rear. of the
That first photo that we saw, that was the maintenance shed in the foreground with the grass in front, it's directly in front of that, is it?
So there's nothing of the whole complex, though. There's none. We don't have a.
It's in the northwest corner. This is DeForest Road.
So this
Yeah.
is the whole complex. So again, here, this is the maintenance shed. This is the clubhouse.
There you go.
Swimming
Oh,
pool,
okay.
and playground here. This is the grass field we're talking about. So our building is physically sitting right here.
And it'll sit next to
Okay. Now I understand.
planes.
Oh, so
other
it's
lot.
really hidden from the street. Yeah, oh, I see.
Yeah, no, 100%. This was really the only viable location on this entire property.
Yeah.
And the diagonal on that aerial is DeForest Road.
On the road, you know, 20 foot
Correct.
tall, so you're not seeing it.
That's fenced and vegetated heavily with trees.
Mhm.
So it's really not, it's visible,
Right.
it's visible to the residents, and from what we understand, it's seen as a welcome addition.
Yeah, or necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
So you're gonna look at the plans, or we're gonna do?
Yeah, do you want to kind of go through some of the other things, and I can kind of
Yeah.
sit here off to the side and listen?
We just, he can look at the plans where we move on? Yep, okay, good.
I considered my seat.
What? I don't think you're gonna be that calm. Okay, so we're gonna just step aside from this application for a moment. As Chris reviews the plans, we're now gonna go to agricultural overlays. This is Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-189-6-11.5, and this is 298 Further Lane in East Hampton. Frank, this is yours.
Okay, this is an application for fences, gates, and an outdoor barbecue area at a property this board has seen before at a residential lot along Further Lane. This application is before us because it sits within an agricultural overlay. The property runs along Further Lane, sitting immediately south of the street, and is visually buffered by a 30-foot wide scenic easement. One of the structures being proposed is the replacement gate there. You can see Further Lane in the distance there. Let's keep going through. There'll be some proposed fences and gates. This is looking parallel to Further Lane through the entry gate. On the backside there is this, we'll go over the proposed barbecue area. and the next one, and then you can see the street that goes back to another oceanfront property we reviewed in the fall.
Which is the
keep going.
same owner as this property.
Right. Keep going. That's the survey. I think that, let's see, so we can quickly run through the proposed structure and I can have the applicant or architect walk us through it. But basically we've got two driveway gates, 6 pedestrian and pool gates, a call box, a 4-foot steel fence with wire mesh infill, and the barbecue area. Will, if you could bring up the plans that Val submitted, these are very clear, and I think these are very tastefully done, and I'm behind this. So
the
this
gates
is-
are how high?
Let's go to the next. So there's the entry gate, if we want to zoom in on that. So all of these, my understanding, these are all just natural, left to weather naturally. So this is a, let me pull up the drawings. Right, so there's a 6-foot gate. That's the entry gate. There will be a call box for it, of which a cut sheet has been proposed. Let's go to the pool gates and the pedestrian gates on the next page. There you go. So there's like entry gates, pedestrian gates, pool gates, double pool gates, up to 4 feet 6 up to, or 4 feet up to, the tallest one is 6 feet. And then there are these swing gates. I think they're all, and then let's go through the fence that goes, it doesn't surround the entire property. We can go back, you can just look at that. So this is a painted black
Iron post fence, yeah.
fence with a mesh, wire mesh infill. So this would satisfy the pool code requirements. And we'll go back to the survey in a little bit, but let's go to the next page for the barbecue enclosure, the barbecue itself. So we're really just reviewing the barbecue cladding here. It's vertical cedar, all tastefully done. And then last page, you'll see the call box. There it is. And let's go to the first page so we can just look at the location of the fence. Yeah. So the fence, so further lane is on the left. So the fence, there will be fencing running, if you can see the driveway, zoom into like the tennis court area there, north of or above the house. So the fencing runs kind of from the edge of the house up parallel to further lane. So to the left of it, to further lane, the parking, the entry area, that's all open. That's not fenced. And then the backyard will be fenced in with this. I have no objection to this application, but Val, do you want to mention anything or?
Sure. For the record, Val Florio, I'm the architect for this project.
We know you well, Val.
And for the record, Mr. Chairman, I have invited our landscape architects to attend. As you mentioned at the last session, it's nice that we have other design individuals present. We're not proposing any new structure here. This is a work in progress as the house has developed. All of the landscape is running sort of in tandem with location of infrastructure. We're concealing air conditioning units and a generator This property had an existing pool. Not sure how old the pool had a leak. It has a proposed new pool, which necessitates the need for the fencing. And thank you, Frank, for the compliments. It was tastefully done. I can't take credit for this work, which was prepared by the firm of Garden 26. Everything was done in a manner which is sensitive to gates should have a transparency, and we've spoken to that. The design clearly shows an attempt for them not to jump out. It's a use of natural material. Everything somewhat melded into the landscape, and in particular, Tyson Lane has a residence which passes property. It's very heavily screened from Tyson on the west side of it. And long and short is that these are embellishments, landscape embellishments to the property. So.
And the gates are natural cedar? Or?
Yes, natural wood. There's a pre-existing gate, which is white, as he had seen, and that's to be removed. But if you have any further questions on material, landscape architects can answer, but it's somewhat self-explanatory. So
I'm fine with it. Susan, you?
No.
Right?
No objections.
Diane?
It looks good.
Chris?
No, I was looking at this earlier and it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautifully executed.
Compliments to the
Compliments to the
landscape team.
landscapers.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
One quick question though I am looking at the survey. So will there be a fence? Oh, here we go. Existing fence along the existing gate to be removed. Okay. So essentially there'll be a gate into the property, but there's actually no fencing around the entire front. Like
Further
the further lane sign from the
Right.
house to the further lane.
Correct. On
It'll keep
further,
cars out, but it's not actually fenced in.
yeah, there is an easement on
Right.
further lane. Previous owner had placed a stockade fence, 4-foot solid stockade fence. As a condition of the approval for the renovation, that fence has been extracted.
Yeah, that'll be handled by a building inspector or CO
Right,
issue.
right.
If it's an issue, but
It's actually been removed in readiness for completion of this project, which will be complete by springtime.
Okay. So do we have any issue with the 6-foot gates on the side street? But there are tall gates.
I think it's appropriately sized for, I mean, it's not like we can go back to the image of it. I mean, my opinion is the middle of it is
4.5 feet.
Yeah, what's the middle? Is it 4 or 4.5? It's about 4.5 feet at the middle. And in terms of transparency, I mean, it's as you can see, it's mostly open above 3 feet.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So
It's more or less a deterrent for the deer.
yeah,
The 4-foot, as a privacy measure, but the higher fence, there is a number of deer in the neighborhood. As we plant, becomes one-stop shopping experience at nighttime, and
right.
got to keep them off the property. So
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Diane, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much.
thank you. I shall see you next month with more landscape and embellishments of structure.
You're a frequent flyer here.
Yeah.
Well, I think my last visit
Okay.
next month. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you all. Jim.
We have no frequent flyer program with benefits.
When I looked at this, there's sort of some markups. I don't know. I don't know how to proceed with this the best way to.
So we're going to go back to Montauk Shores, Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-321-1-267.1, 100 to Forest Road. So I guess the question is, do we have enough information to write a resolution?
How do we write a resolution?
We just call it the siding and the doors and the roof, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this is something we probably never tried before, but to write up as annotated in the.
There's lots of notes on this.
Well, it's kind of a civil drawing, you know? I mean,
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like I could write this resolution and be specific about the notes that I added on this and hand this back to you, and then, you know.
Will you keep a copy? I'll keep a copy for the file, and if you approve it, we can write it together.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Not gonna do it custom this time, right?
Right.
Right, just what's on the plans now, which is,
And we have lighting.
Yeah, the light cut sheets are there.
Nancy, is that okay with you? Yes.
Okay.
Highly unusual.
But it's an unusual situation.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate
And
it.
we totally understand your need for this to happen.
Contractor shop, and again, the building's not going up until sometime next year. There's a lot of groundwork, which is the first level. And so as we finalize it or change anything, of course, we'll come back and.
Yeah, come back to us with the fence and the gate information.
Understood.
Okay, so go.
So, how to word this? I'd like to make a motion to approve the application as submitted with, and as discussed at this meeting, regarding finishes and colors to the building.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
This, see, we'll refer to notes. Oh, there you are, revisions. Oh my God, you're in revision 12. Actually, these are last revisions were 8/12/24. So I don't think we had a.
No, I don't know if there was an updated revision date on
No.
that one yesterday.
Just for the record, the oldest things on here were dated 2017, so it has been a long time for them.
Can you state for the record, just the siding, the roof,
the
the
big items.
doors,
Yeah.
like, you know, color material?
So the motion would include a dark gray asphalt shingle roof, natural cedar shingle siding, which would be on all four walls, including the gables. White aluminum gutters and downspouts. White trim. Exterior lighting as submitted on the approved cut sheets.
And the doors painted white?
The doors are a new, including white FRP doors, which is fiber reinforced. Can't remember what it is. It's a
white fiberglass door.
White fiberglass door. And technical aspects, including stainless steel exhaust vents, stainless steel louvers as required by the building function.
Okay.
And just to clarify, so the fascia here is not going to run across on that upper left renovation.
Right.
Correct.
So the fascia will either run up with a roof or.
Like a normal house.
Yeah.
So you see it to the roof, to the soffit,
Okay.
and from the soffit to the.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, second?
Second.
Frank, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Susan? Okay, so pass, Joan.
All right, thank you very much.
You bet.
Greatly appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Matt, I'll get this back to you.
I'm sorry?
We'll work on a resolution. We'll get
Yours, and I'll just need a copy.
He has 6 copies with.
Oh, he has 6?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Thank you.
We're good.
Again, thank you.
You bet. So on agricultural overlays, we're at Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-149-4-4.3. This is 302 Town Lane in Amagansett. Frank, this is yours.
Okay. This is an application to modify a previously approved application. We're in July of last year, we approved the construction of a new family dwelling of approximately 5,600 square feet with a tennis court pavilion, and an open air carport. This application came before us because it sits within an agricultural overlay. It sits deep off a dirt road, down a dirt road off of Town Lane in a subdivision across from Balsam Farms farm stand. It's bound to the east by town-owned land and to the south and west largely by land-owned Suffolk County, and there's a private lot within the subdivision just to the west, which would be at the bottom of the screen. The board may recall from that previous application, there was another separate lot with its own application. They were submitted concurrently for a modest one-bedroom cottage. It appears that the design for that one-bedroom cottage on that lot, which we approved and were receptive to, is now on this lot. And I'd like to hear from the architect about this, just mirrored and cited to work within with this lot. Thus, technically, this modification is to reduce a previously approved 5,632 gross square foot residence to a 1,546 gross square foot residence. The tennis court remains, and there's a viewing terrace. The pergola at the tennis court appears to be no longer, and the elevated solar array with its own structure that we discussed, separate from the main house, also appears not on the survey. If there is an applicant here, I think is Billy's here. At this point, I invite the applicant to come and perhaps just run through the project and renderings. And also we'll discuss exterior lighting.
Sure. And with me tonight is Sarah DeGray from LaGuardia Design.
Okay. Can you state for your record your name?
Sure. So William Imperial from BMA Architects in Bridgehampton, acting on behalf of the applicant, acting as agent for applicant. Yeah, so pretty much what was approved on 298 back in July, that house got moved to 302 Town Lane. It's almost identical. The only thing that changed, if you have the elevations, is the entry went from a shed roof to a gable and just like a porch element.
That should run through
but the materials are the same.
Yeah, it's very
The
similar.
windows, yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that has changed.
Let's just run through this, yeah.
So you can see that right there. So we have a gable, and to the left is a shed roof to create a porch.
Mm-hmm.
And that has remained the same from previously approved. Open breezeway between. And then you could see that porch, that gable element on the side elevation. And then on the other side, you would be able to see the shed roof. It's that's kind of, I love Revit, and I have a disgust for Revit at the same time. But you can see on the bottom right corner, you'll see the shed roof coming out for a porch element.
I think you'll see this better in the renderings.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just remind the board, this is zoned to be, and I have to pull it up. This is zoned to be a 7,000, you could build up to 7,224 square feet, and the proposed here is 1,500.
And we had approved that 7,000,
Like
that larger house initially.
The big house is not being built at all?
Yeah, that is not being.
Okay, and it's not being built somewhere else, or it's just not being built?
It's not.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not at this time.
Okay, that's fine.
And the bigger house is probably going to be a smaller house. which you'll see me probably the next couple of months when we submit
We
that.
see a lot of bigger houses becoming smaller houses all of a sudden. I think it's cost, right?
So, and just state for us the siding and the roof.
Sure. So it'll be a black stain siding, and the roof will be black stain as well too. In the drawings, we have, I forget what the Benmore color stain is, but it'll be cedar shingle roof, cedar shingle siding, and a black stain and a dark stain.
Harbor coat, maybe.
I can get you the exact, bear with me.
The roof and siding the same. And how about exterior lighting? There's a cut sheet, that brass fixture.
Yep.
Let's just run through
That's,
those.
yeah, so that's,
The mast light.
it's remained the same. There's just less of it because it's a smaller project. So exactly what was approved on 298 is just moved over to 302.
Yeah.
So those will be like on a little post. And
And what's on the house?
on the house, I don't think we have anything on the house.
Is it just soffit lighting?
Let me double check that. Bear with me. Let me just look. We might have something on the house. Let me check.
And in terms of the, just with the board, the location of this lot, it's way south. I mean, the closest thing to it is the railroad track. Like sort of just over the railroad track is the field where, kind of just west of Amber Waves, their field is. So like if you were in down at the public lot in Amagansett, that field, this is over the tracks and right there.
We do have, there are wall sconces that are set at 5'6" that are shown on the elevations.
Yeah.
And we have the spec for that as well too in the submittal.
So that's not this mast light.
No, that is
Okay.
it's a different light fixture.
Is
There
that
we go.
in the
Okay.
package?
There it is right there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no objection
Yeah,
to
we saw
that.
those
And let's
before.
just, for the board, the fencing, there's no change to the fencing of this, correct? Okay. So we're not including that in the submission. Any comments by people? In the proposed tennis, is there a tennis arbor? So so maybe I was wrong. So maybe there is like the arbor or pergola at the tennis court remains?
Yes.
Okay.
It's exactly that. The previous approved application for the tennis arbor would remain on the plan. So that would be included in the proposed.
Okay. Okay. So I think we probably should state for the record that that we are removing from scope the the parking carport.
That's correct.
Okay.
Carport is.
And as well as the solar panels.
Yeah. Because one could interpret 5 years from now that, oh yeah, it was permitted.
Everybody good with this? I think so.
Yeah, I think this little, the house was great on the other property. It looks great here.
Thank you. There was just something I just wanted to clarify, if that's okay.
Sure.
It was, and Will and I were talking about this in the evaluations, just under page two of 3, under other background information. Within the evaluations, it says a finished basement of 1,676. So that's just a basement. It's an unfinished basement, just so there's nothing happening there. It's like 6 feet. And then under the site review discussion, mass and scale, the new proposed lot coverage is 13,520, and it says the max allowed is 13,520, but the max allowed is 22,497. And then on page 3 of 3, under other structures, this was something Will asked if we could just clarify, which I didn't even think about it. That was a great idea. Was and we do have these surveys with us here tonight, basically just showing what was previously approved, such as the tennis court, the driveway. So we have those surveys that have that language on there. They don't show there. I have those copies here, so I
That's
can,
what I was asking
give them
about
to you if you like. And then there was a, I think, third paragraph under other structures was thinking there might be two buildings, but they're one building connected by breezeway. And what was the other thing? We spoke about lighting. That was it.
I'm fine with this.
So we're fine with it. I think everyone's fine here.
Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application as presented for the modification to the dwelling and the removal from the site of the previously approved carport and the previously approved solar array structure.
Second,
I'll second.
Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Susan chipped in. Okay, so passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just need two of those, please.
Just two. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, on to certificates of occupancy. First one is Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-189-6-7.1. This is 12 Tyson Lane in East Hampton. Frank, it's yours.
Okay, this is an application for a CO for an extension of a very simple extension, an addition of a house northwards away from the beach towards another main house on this property. It's a very tastefully executed addition, fits in, I think, seamlessly. This is what it looked like previously. It's kind of hard to make out with the trees, but this is how it came out. It conforms to what we approved. It's very well done. It's a wonderfully taken care of lot. I mean, you can see they go back like the pear trees. Let's just look at I'm all fun. So the pear trees growing on the fence. Yeah, next one.
Oh, I see them. Yeah.
Go next one. Next page. Yeah, there you go. Oh, stop. It's meticulously wonderful gardens. Really very well kept property. Beautiful. And this is not visible from any public right of way. It just sits within the ag overlay.
Home run.
We're good.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, I'd like to make a motion to instruct the staff to notify the building department that this application has satisfied the conditions and substantially conforms to the ARB approval of the resolution.
Second?
Second.
Diane, all in favor? Susan?
Aye.
Chris? Okay, aye, so passed. Last on C of Os, this is Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-189-4-7.1, 323 Further Lane in East Hampton. Diane, this is yours.
Yes, this is, this application for a C of O relates to a very modest addition that somehow seemed inevitable in this house. It's this little join, which they've created an office. And it just fits in totally with the existing house. You can go through my pictures. That's it from another angle. And there's also, and then the replacement of these doors. There were on the elevation, if you want to see them, on the third page, A200, there are the old doors and the new doors. The new doors look very clean. It looks very clean and appropriate.
What were the old doors? French doors?
No, that's why I thought, Will, can you find that on it's A200, the third page of there.
No, I see.
The old doors and these are the black rimmed are the new, yeah.
So,
And it goes with the new addition. It looks very, very nice. And this is a very long flag lot, that's not visible from anywhere by anyone.
It looks like it was really built the way they presented it.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to make a motion to approve this application for a certificate of occupancy and to instruct the staff to notify the building department that this is ready for a C of O.
second?
Second.
Frank, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so passed. So that concludes the agenda for tonight. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session with the board to discuss some litigation. So Matt, we'll be signing off of LTV.
All right, great. Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you so
Matt.
much.